If the AD Robles YouTube channel was a stock, I'd be all in right now. I don't really mean the channel. I don't even mean me personally. I want to talk about the message that my channel, John Harris, Right Response Ministries, Protestia, these kinds of organizations. This message of, hey, your evangelical leaders, this is a propaganda arm of the government. Like there's been some serious compromise at the highest levels. Like that message, I think, is poised for a huge move into kind of mainstream Christianity belief. I think that. So I got the idea of this video actually from Owen Benjamin. He did a video recently where he said that like the world's morality is kind of like a stock chart, where there's like these pullbacks and then there's these big moves upwards and then the pullback and things like that. I'm not going to go into that too much. That's not really the point. That's where I got the idea of this video. What you're looking at on the screen is a chart of gold. Now, stick with me. I promise you this is not going to be a boring episode. But this is a chart of the price of gold, 1 ounce of gold, since roughly about when I was born, right? So we're sitting here for a long time, right around $400, $300 an ounce. It dips down a little bit here. And then there's this huge move up, right? And this huge move up coincides with money printing and also the great financial crisis right around here. And the price of gold just goes through the roof after the great financial crisis. Right around here is where I got interested in gold, right? And if you know anything about my testimony, I was working on Wall Street at the time during the great financial crisis. I was making a lot of money. I was living a fast life. And then overnight, it seemed, when the great financial crisis hit, my income took a 50% hit. It seemed like overnight. But I kept spending. I kept living the fast life and put myself in a very bad position when it comes to debt and all of that. And eventually I came to the end of myself. Very similar story to the prodigal son. And I started kind of fixing the things I had, the situations I had made for myself. And I did buy some gold right around here, right around 2009, I would say. I bought a good amount of gold and silver and all of that. I ended up selling it around here. So not at the peak of the price, but right around here I ended up selling it. And it wasn't a ton of gold. It wasn't a lot, but it was a decent amount. I made a profit on it, and it was really good. Now, since then, I'm going to scroll in a little bit, since when I sold to now. So here's the height of the price of gold up until recently, when we made new highs. But this formation here, there's something called technical analysis, and I'm not an expert at it at all, but what people call this formation is the cup and handle formation. So we've got a peak here, we've got a valley down, the price of gold went down, then it started going up again. Now we've got a peak here. This is recently, right over here is the is COVID, and then we've got to move slightly downward, right? And a lot of people think that this technical formation thinks that the price of gold, predicts that the price of gold is going to move up. It's going to move up aggressively. It's going to probably move up. A lot of people say as high as this high point to this low point is, it'll probably move up after this period of consolidation. And so that means we're talking like $3,000 gold or more. I'm not a financial expert or guru. I'm not giving you financial advice, but I'm just telling you what some technical analysis think about this formation called the cup and the handle. Now, this part right here, this is the handle of the cup. There's not a lot of action here. Well, there's a lot of action, but it's not really moving up or down. And people call this a period of consolidation, where an ounce of gold trades within a very small corridor, a very small window of prices, right? It's not going to go below 1,700. It's not really going to go too high above 1,900. It's just always kind of in here. And what a lot of technical analysis analysts think is that this kind of signals some uncertainty in the market, right? They're not really sure. Like, is it time to buy or is it time to sell? Is the price going to move up or is it going to move down? And so there's a lot of uncertainty here. This is called consolidation, right? And this is where kind of like the true believers, so to speak, are separated from those who are just looking to make a buck, kind of short term kind of thing. I'm not saying that everyone's not trying to make a buck. I mean, everybody is. But right now, there's a period of kind of like, and bull markets are like this, right? Where the kind of the fakers get shaken off. That's why it's called a bull, because the bull shakes them off kind of thing. And the true believers hold on for dear life kind of thing. And so I borrowed that from Bitcoin. I get it. But so there's some consolidation going on here. You see here, scrolling back, to the inflation and the great financial crisis, this is a clear move up. Everyone's excited about buying gold between 2004 and 2012. And then we've got people are not excited at all. Now they're excited again. But here, again, people don't really know what to do. They're not sure what they believe at this point about gold. A lot of people don't think that it's going to go up higher. A lot of people do. And so there's some consolidation going on here. And I believe that when it comes to the 80 Robles YouTube channel and the messages that I promote regarding Big Eva and Gospel Coalition and things like that, there's a very similar period, of consolidation happening. Because if you look at my subscriber count, and I think this is true of a lot of us, we're growing in general. So like the trend is up. But there are periods when I get stuck. I've been around 19,000 subscribers for a long time. And I'm a one-trick pony. I mean, my content is about one thing pretty much and one thing only. It's about the compromise of our most visible leaders in evangelicalism. The propaganda, and that relates itself to COVID. It relates itself to the war in Ukraine. It relates itself to social justice, feminism. It's all related. And I think that there's some consolidation going on with my own subscribers. You'll see I kind of flatline a little bit, and I don't think that means that no action is happening. It's not like when the price of gold stays constant here, that doesn't mean people aren't buying and selling. They are. It's just not everyone. It's not like a clear buy time or a clear sell time. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of our messages, at least the people that kind of share my perspective on Big Eva. I got this from the conference this past weekend too, talking to people. We're just coming out of this period where people are sort of waking up and they're like, man, like what happened to Chandler? What happened to Piper? What happened to Keller? And we're like looking back into their history and we're like, you know what? Keller was always like this. And Matt Chandler was always, and it's like we're just waking up for the first time. And so to be honest, I think that the hesitancy to sort of jump on board with the 80 Robles YouTube channel and the messages that I promote, I think that's valid. You want to be careful. You want to make sure that what you're really seeing with your own eyes is really happening, because we went through this period where, clearly there's an issue here, but at the same time, like, there's some consolidation going on. I think that I'm losing subscribers and gaining them at about the same rate. And so, of course, when you're losing just as many as you gain, you might gain some subscribers, but you're not going to make huge moves up in general, because I think that means that there's some consolidation going on here. And people aren't quite sure about old AD. And so when I say something that they disagree with regarding the Russia and Ukraine situation, well, now they're really mad and they want to leave. When I say something they don't agree with about truckers, they want to leave because they're not quite sure where I'm coming from at this point. And I think that on the grand scale of evangelicalism, something like this is happening as well. See, I'm trying to think forward. I'm trying to predict the price of gold in the next 10 years, right? Like that's something that I'm trying to do, trying to set myself up and my family to take advantage of what I think is going to be a huge move up in the price of gold. Again, not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And likewise, I'm trying to predict the future of Big Eva, the future of Gospel Coalition. And I'm here to tell you that I just don't think that the future is very bright. I don't see any signs of any kinds of breaks on this train. Their Gospel Coalition is headed full steam ahead into more and more compromise. And every year that passes, they have to compromise more and more because the left is marching forward. And things that were okay 5 years ago, the left is going to call racist, sexist, bigoted, whatever in the next 5 years. And so if you want to stay in their good graces, I think a lot of these evangelical leaders, they do want to stay in their good graces. If you're going to do that, though, you're going to have to constantly be moving with them. And so my message is going to be much more clearly right as the years go on. That's my opinion. And that's why I'm predicting the end of things called Gospel Coalition. Not that they'll cease to exist, but they'll cease to exist in any in any Christian capacity you can imagine. It's going to be a byword. It's going to be like a lot of people today, like they talk about Christianity Today or Relevant Magazine. It's like it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I think that within 10 years, Gospel Coalition will be one of those jokes where it's like, oh yeah, that's mainline. You talk about like the UCC, United Church of Christ. It's mainline. I mean, everything pagan they're doing as well. That's what I think Gospel Coalition and Acts 2:9 are headed for that. I don't want to make predictions on timing for that because it's very hard to time things, just like it's very hard to time the market. Do I know when the next big move up in gold is? I don't. It could be this year for all I know. It could be 5 years, 10 years for all I know. But I do know the general direction that it's going, and I think that this technical pattern is pretty clear that we're headed for a big move up. Again, not financial advice. So when it comes to Big Eva, sadly, I think it's going to be a byword, and there will be some people that break ranks and all of that, and I'm hoping to encourage more people to do that. And I know I've been promoting this Rise and Fall of Gospel Coalition thing. Now that I'm past this conference and the beginning of the year, it's going to be coming out. I promise. It's just taking a little more time. I'm trying to be good, trying to take care and do it well, and do it the right way, and all that. But that's what I think is going on with a lot. Right now, there's still a lot of uncertainty. People, they hear things about John Harris. They hear people that they used to trust blindly. They used to trust blindly. They're hearing those people say things about John Harris that sound like, well, man, is he a neo-Confederate? Is he a racist? They're hearing those people that they used to trust blindly say things about A.D. Robles, or how he's this angry, evil heretic and stuff like that. They see that. They used to trust those people blindly. Now they're starting to check it out, and they're not quite sure because they'll see me on YouTube. They've heard I'm some kind of maniac, some kind of psychopath, and then they watch me on YouTube, and they're like, he doesn't seem like a psychopath. And then they meet, and then God forbid they meet me in person, because a lot of these people have warned people against talking to me in person. They say I'm not sincere. I don't have anyone's best interest in mind. I'm not someone you can trust. But you know what? A lot of people are breaking ranks and calling me anyway and setting up meetings with me anyway. And when they do, they find out that I'm completely reasonable. They're starting to trust you less and less every day. We've got this period of consolidation going on. Let me just show you again what this looks like. There's a period of consolidation going on. And so what we're getting are people that are like, okay, can I trust him? Can I not? And they're going up and down, up and down, up and down. And guys, your strategy of ignore and slander and call them names and stuff like that, it's not working for very much longer. I think we're headed for a huge move up. And I just lost my bearings here, so I can't show you. But we're headed for a huge move up in trust for people that have pointed these issues out. I'm talking about Protestia, stuff like that. A huge move up for those people and a huge move down for evangelical leaders, like people like Dan Darling and Ray Ortlund. Their stock is poised for a huge collapse. And I honestly cannot wait for this to happen. Because my thing is, I want you guys to change, right? I want you to change and stop promoting nonsense and start promoting the law and the gospel of Jesus Christ. I don't think that's going to happen, though. And so if it's not going to happen, the trust in you has to collapse. And I think that's happening right now. We're in a period of consolidation, but I think that the pattern that we're seeing right now, it's clearly bullish for random churches out there with pastors that have not gone along with the program, that refuse to shut down for COVID, that aren't teaching your racial reconciliation, partiality nonsense, that aren't going to be mouthpieces for the regime of the United States. Those pastors' stock is rising. God bless him, man. God bless him. God help us. I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you at all, and that's my fault. But if it doesn't, reach out to me. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. God bless.